What's up, guys? In today's episode, we have a special guest, Real Andy of Beverly Hills, joining me. We discuss his journey in this Bravo community, how he got started. And I actually learned a couple things from him. So I'm very appreciative of him and his time. But we also break down a couple things going on in Beverly Hills. And he kind of gives an exclusive on something that we didn't even think was a thing. There's a connection between Housewives that doesn't seem to be coming through on the show, but there could be a reason for that. But, anyways, guys, enjoy this episode and make sure that you please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're not following me on TikTok, it's at Giorgio Says. Follow me on Instagram at Giorgio Not Armani. And you can also check me out on Patreon. I drop exclusive episodes on there every Friday. And yeah, let's get into it.
Welcome to the Giorgio Says podcast. Spilling the tea with Giorgio Takanokis. If you love to keep up to date with all the latest pop culture news and celebrity gossip, then this is the podcast for you. Now, please welcome your host, Giorgio Takanokis.
All right, guys, we're back for another episode of Giorgio Says the podcast. I'm obviously your host, Giorgio, and today I have a very special guest, the real Andy of Beverly Hills. Andy, how are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm great. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's getting heated in Beverly Hills. Obviously, as you know, you just broke some exclusives as well, so we'll talk about that. But basically, if you guys didn't see, I was on Andy's live last week, and we had a really good discussion about multiple franchises. And so I thought it'd be really cool to have him on the podcast because we talk about the same stuff and we're in the same community. So I kind of want to pick your brain today a little bit, Andy, and try to get to know you and your background a little bit more and how you came into this whole scene with talking about Beverly Hills. So, first question, when did you decide that this was something you needed to start a YouTube channel and start diving into this world?
It was so funny. So, I have been a fan of Housewife literally since Orange County came out, like 17 years ago. And I wasn't even living in this country. I'm originally from Colombia, so I was living in Colombia, and I started watching. Back then I was a very big fan of Desperate Housewives.
Yep.
Oh yeah, so I when I watch this like Real Housewife, I'm like, what the hell is this? And I kind of like get into it. Reality TV is not like a big thing in Colombia, so I'm like, what is this? I'm sort of like getting into it and watching it, and then I just went from there and I started watching all the franchises, and I really like. I think it really became my obsession with reality TV. I'm
Mm-hmm.
watching like all these ladies, and of course you watch at the beginning from the opulence, and like the lifestyle and the luxury, and you're like, oh, these women who have so much money, and then you go to Beverly Hills and it's like, oh, Orange County is like nothing,
Yeah.
so Beverly Hills is even better, and all of that. So I think the part was like funny, and then well, I keep watching it, but as I said, in Colombia was not a big thing, and then I moved here to the States, I live here in LA, and I realized that like over the years never met absolutely anyone who talk or who like Housewives the way I did.
Mm-hmm.
The only one who knew about Housewife was my now husband. Back then we were boyfriends, and he was very into like Atlanta, and I couldn't watch it at the beginning because I was learning English and they speak way too fast for me. So I was like, I don't get this, so I'm not gonna watch it right now. And I kind of like, over time, like I of course I watch now all of them, but like um I never met anyone. It was so funny. Like I will talk to, of course, my friends. No one even knew about it. My family had no idea what housewife are. And the people around me, they were very like, some of them might hear about it, but they were not like big fans. And it was such like an obsession, like I really wanted to know about these ladies, and then you get into the drama and you get involved into their lives, so I was like, I want to do, I like, I don't know, but I was like, okay, whatever, and spend all these years watching all of these shows and then all of the other Bravo shows, I Vanderpump Rules and Southern Charm and all of that. And like 2 years ago, actually this July was 2 years. I was working, and I had two jobs at the time. I was working at a hotel in like a front desk, wherever
Mm-hmm.
hotel, and it was like a part time, and then I will be doing like Uber full time, like Uber Eat and like Uber
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So I was doing that all the time, and it was pandemic. I think it was the beginning of the pandemic or something, and then I was like, you know what? My husband is a YouTuber, but he has been a YouTuber for a very long time. I was just like, I never thought about it because I'm actually, if you meet me in person, like I am very shy. I'm an introvert. I don't
Mm-hmm.
like go around like, hey girl, do you want to be my friend? No, that's not like my thing. So while my husband, he's extremely like outgoing. He's
Mm-hmm.
the one. So he has been doing like YouTube, but like other kind of thing, like YouTube drama and like blogging and like all of that. And I never really thought about it. I don't know why. I never really thought about doing YouTube. And then I was at the hotel one day, and I was like, what if I do a video talking about Beverly Hills, because Beverly Hills is like my favorite franchise. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, what if I do this, like for fun, whatever. I created the channel itself like years ago. And I remember at some point I tried to do like a video and it got like 7 views, but it wasn't about housewife. It was like a random other thing. So
Yeah.
I kind of like just leave it in there. And then I was like, oh, I have this channel, so I'm just gonna like erase that, and kind of like, just do a video. And then the name came like very naturally. I was like, well, my name is Andrew, so Andy. So I was like Andy. And then I was like, well, I do not live in Beverly Hills, but none of the housewives of Beverly Hills actually live in Beverly Hills. So like, who gives a shit,
That's true.
So I was like, I like the real Andy of Beverly Hills. And I was like, that's it. I really love it. And I did my first video, and I think it was like, so that was the first season after Lisa Vanderpump left. And I wanted to do kind of like recaps from the first episode, but we were almost getting into half season at that point, you know. So I did like a recap on the first episode, and I was just like put it out there. I didn't know anything about hashtags or tags or like all the things that you have to do on YouTube. Like I have no idea. I just put it out there with like a name, and I'm still getting like some comments, and I used to follow some YouTubers at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch a lot of like Sharel World and Up and Adam way at the beginning, when he got like, I think like 2,000 subscribers back then. So uh I started watching them. That's also was part of like the idea. I was like, oh, these people really talk about housewives. And look, like if you go to Sherelle, like her lives are like thousands of people, really like commenting about everything. And I was like, there is people out there who watch housewives just the way I do.
Yeah.
Was like, I want to connect with these people. I want to know where is the deal. So I did that video. And I remember doing that video, and like literally like next week they dropped the trailer, and it was when Brandy Glanville dropped the whole bomb of like the threesome with Denise Richards,
Oh, yep.
you know. So I was like, oh my god. And it kind of like instantly I was like, girl, I need to talk about this. I cannot wait till I do recaps for every single episode to start talking about this.
Yeah.
And also I didn't have a lot of time. So I was doing Uber, I was doing this other job. I basically work like 12 to 15 hours every day. So I was like, how I'm gonna like manage to do all of this? And then I was like, let's just like fuck it, I'm just gonna do it from my car. So I remember, like, if you go back into my videos, my first videos, I was just in my car putting like the phone on the little thing, and I was like, you know what, while I was doing Uber Eats, so I didn't have like passengers, I just have like dropping food and all of that. So I was like, while I'm doing these orders and while I'm doing all of this thing, I'm just gonna record, I'm gonna just, and it really started like that, like recaps, like watching the shows, talking about what was going on, and then it kind of like changed because once you start like getting into this world, and then you start receiving tea, you
Yes.
know, and it's like it really changed your perspective, when you're just a viewer, you watch these shows and oh yeah, it's funny and the money and a little bit of drama and that's it, you go on with your life and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start getting the tea and the relationships and how these girls are behaving and who is who and like why are they doing this, and then you get the anonymous email saying like, oh, Mauricio is cheating on Kyle with this girl here, or like she's doing this person is doing that, you just start like, whoa, and I start like just putting videos and videos, and I actually keep my channel a secret for a very long time. Not even my husband knew that I was doing it because
Really?
yeah, yeah. Like I'm telling you, like I am very shy. I'm not very. This was very like off brand for me. I was very like I didn't want to deal with like the reaction of my friends or my family or like I. This was something that it was like for me. And
So it was
then
like a hobby that you wanted to keep for yourself, not because you were trying to like expose things.
yeah, yeah, no, it was like at the beginning, it was just recapping, just talking about Housewife. And I was like finding that when I was by myself, I was able to open myself, like
Mm-hmm.
YouTube really give me that tool of like expressing myself. Like I don't have anyone like directly in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
So it really like pushed me in that way. And then when the channel just like start growing incredibly fast, and that kind of like it was a little bit scary, but at the same time it was like, okay, these people really like what I'm doing. Like why is that, like I'm not at the beginning I didn't feel that I was doing anything different from Adam or Kempire or Sherelle, like for me it was like kind of like the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
People were like really liking it, and it really grow and grow and grow. And as it started growing, i I found like I open more, it really gave me tools to like, I'm of course I'm not super outgoing still, like again, like if you really find me on the street, I'm like like I'm very like, like it's weird. I have had some encounters with like fans, and of course I will take pictures and I will say hi to everyone, but
Yeah.
it's still like my heart really like start like racing, and I'm like, oh my god, what should I say? And people are like, hi, how are you? Oh my god, can we take a picture? And I'm like, yeah, of course, but because I'm still that kind of person. But
Mm-hmm.
if I'm thinking like back in the day, I will be very like, why are you talking to me? Like stay there.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's interesting because I think I actually I think I saw your husband's channel, and I think the only reason I figured it out was because he said that you were his husband. I was like, oh, I didn't even know that your husband was also on YouTube. And I remember watching your YouTube videos when you filmed them in your car, because that was before I even jumped into the scene, because I've been watching from the beginning as well. And I kind of felt similarly to you, where it was like, yeah, I'll talk about it, but there's already so many people talking about it. It's not like this is going to be anything different. But then I learned that, people just, they love it so much. They need it as much as possible. And they want to hear everyone's perspective on it and everyone's
That's it.
opinion. And it is interesting because as you grow and when it happens fast. So for me, my challenge has been YouTube, because I cannot figure it out. I know that it takes a lot of like dedication. You have to be like consistent with it, and you've got to do the tags and I don't even know anymore. Like I'm sure the rules change as time goes, but that's something I'm trying to build on too. So like everyone I feel has their thing. And so it's like, it's nice to see that there's so many creators that are this passionate about Housewives, which
Yeah.
I was the same. I didn't really have a lot of people in my circle that watched it. So like when I started talking about it, people would ask me like, oh, what do you do on TikTok? And I'm like, oh, I talk about Housewives. And they're like, what is there to talk about that much? And I'm like, you have no idea. There's so much to talk about. that's not even on the show. It's a lot of stuff's outside of the show, as you know. So it's like, and we get emails now left and right. People want to expose people all the time. They're like, oh, I went to school with this girl. Let me tell you the real story about her. And you're just like, it's just amazing what the show has done in terms of like all the franchises. I mean, this is like what, almost 20 years it's been on
Yeah.
from the beginning. So, but when you were doing it and your channel picked up, were you able to kind of transition and make that your full-time thing? Or did you find a more better balance? Because I'm sure like it is tough when you work full-time and you have to try to fit in time for this
Yeah.
content rather. So like how did you make it work?
Look at the begin. So the thing is, especially the beginning on YouTube is so hard, because in order to get monetized on YouTube, well, nowadays you have to get at least 1,000 subscribers and you have to get 4,000 hours of watch time, and that's a lot,
It is a lot.
So it's a lot. So like it's all about consistency, and yes, my husband has been doing it for, I think at the moment I start, he already was like 5 year into YouTube,
Oh
so
wow.
he knew some things here and there, but still we learned a lot from these past 2 years, because actually I reached him so fast, like the same amount of subscribers. Like he was on YouTube for 5 years, I reached him on like a year of of subscribers, so
Wow.
we start learning so much about all of this. And then, like you said, it was such a lot of work, because it's all about consistency. So on YouTube you have to post 6 7 videos a day for the algorithm to actually understand that you are legit, you know and also because you need to get to in order to get monetized, you need those 4,000 hours of watch time. The ideal is to post a lot, a
Yeah.
lot, a lot, so people watch, and then when you get monetized, it's not like you're getting thousands of dollars right away, no, like it goes little by little. I still remember like my first paycheck from YouTube was for like $500, you know
Which is
uh,
a lot. I
I mean,
mean,
it
for
is
it
a
to be your
lot, but
first check, but not like you could live off that every
yeah,
like
exactly.
time.
No, you can leave, exactly. So I was like, I cannot leave my jobs, because and then I was let go from the hotel because of the pandemic, you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
my only full-time job was Uber, so I have to do more Uber in order to survive. Like my husband has his job and I had my job, but we still have LA is extremely expensive. So you have to like pay for everything. And I was like, yeah, I cannot live from YouTube yet. And the only thing that you have to do is really, really commit to it. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do my videos. I was like waking up at 8 in the morning, going to bed at like 1 2 in the morning, editing and doing like the whole thing. And I didn't care, and I don't know why, like maybe like I was telling you, like watching so many people being interested in what I was doing kind of like really give me that spark of like I must be doing something right, so I need to do this, you know.
Hmm. Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, let's just do it, let's just do it, let's just do it. And I actually completely quit my Uber job probably like a year ago or less than a year ago, because I still, it was very, so once you start getting paid by YouTube, it also goes like a roller coaster,
Okay.
But it's all about, it's not like a secure check that is going to tell you that they're going to give you $2,000 a month. It's not like that. It's all about the advertising and the views and all of that. So I was doing very good 1 month, and then the next month will go down, and then it will go up, and
Hmm.
you're trying to find as you're growing when is that. And I was like very afraid of stop working, and then my YouTube channel is not gonna do good enough. So where are we gonna get that money?
Yeah.
So that's why. And then even though I start finally getting kind of like the same amount month after month, I still was very afraid of letting go, So I was like, no, I'm still gonna get keep my job. Of course, I was not doing now 12 hours a day on Uber, I was
Yeah.
doing 8 and 6, and I little by little, I keep like going like less and less. And then I think last year I went to Europe to visit my family because my family lives in Germany. And I went over there and I kind of like realized that I could live from YouTube, but it will require to have like a change, of course, in our lifestyle because we were getting the Uber money plus the YouTube money. So of course you have like that extra money,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
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 And then I was like, should I do this? So I talked to my husband and he's like, look, your channel is growing. It's just gonna go up, So like just do it. Like who cares? We just like we don't need like the whole luxury things right now. So I was like, okay, let's just do it. And I decided I'm just gonna quit. I'm just not gonna do Uber anymore. It was super scary. And but it kind of like you push yourself, like life throw you these things and then you are like, oh, okay, I cannot now take days off like I did before, like now I really have to get into this whole YouTube situation and be behind, and
Mm-hmm.
like take advantage of opportunities, and talking to other creators and do collaborations and like do all of that. So it kind of like now is finding its full way kind of thing.
So, because it's funny that you say that because I have a full-time job and I've worked full-time. So it's getting to a point, I don't know. It sounds like you kind of went through the same thing where, in the beginning it's fine because it's fun and it's just a hobby and you can do it and keep going and you squeeze it in where you can. But then it gets to a point where it's like, well, now this is serious stuff. And
Yeah.
now I'm like growing and growing and growing. And now it's getting heavier and heavier from both sides. It's not just work anymore. It's got, this is my second. So I essentially in my mind, you probably felt like this too. You have like multiple jobs and
Yeah.
you're running around. And some days you feel like you're going insane because you're trying to keep up with the tea and you're trying to keep up with your responsibilities. And you're like, what am I doing? So it is very like inspirational to hear that you were able to do that. And yes, I've heard from other creators too. It's like you don't just quit your job as soon as you start a YouTube channel because it does take, you have to build that into, how
Yeah.
you live and all that stuff. But it's nice to see that it does work. And do you feel like you gained more like opportunities once you let go of your job though? Like when you were solely focused on your YouTube channel, did you feel like more opportunities came your way to kind of supplement?
Yeah, I mean, eventually, I mean, at the beginning, of course, when you have your another job that has nothing to do with housewife or reality TV or anything, you cannot focus 100%,
Yeah.
like I tell you, like my channel was big. I think I was like on the 10,000 subscribers or something at the time. And I was receiving tea, I was receiving these little things here and there, but you don't have enough time to like do a proper investigation, to really go through your sources, to talk here, talk there, and if
Mm-hmm.
someone how I'm gonna have do a collaboration and I'm in my car, like all of those kind of things, so you really start thinking about it. But once you quit your job and you realize like, okay, shit, now things are like serious, you really put your effort and it really comes, like I now I talk more seriously with a lot of people, a lot of people behind the cameras, behind the scenes, some housewives, so so it's kind of like it really started being, yeah, the opportunities really present itself, like I'm getting now like sponsorships, or like those kind of things that I'm trying to like in in put everything together. But yeah, it's scary at the beginning, but also one big part of doing everything, it's because for a very long time I had a lot of jobs that I hated, and I just did it because I went to school for it, or that's what I supposed to be doing, or I just need the money, or like I was doing, and you woke up and you're like, oh, I have to do this shit all over again. Like, oh my God, this is so annoying, but you just have to do it, right? And
Yep.
in my mind, I always visualize. We're big into like visualization and like all of that, So in my mind, I always say to myself, I just want to wake up and be happy with what I'm doing, I want to like be excited of what I'm doing, And yes, not every day is going to be amazing and rainbows, but but like at
No,
least
it's
you
true.
want to feel that you are doing something that you like, because it's supposed to be hopefully for the rest of your life, right? And it's going to bring you more and more opportunities. So with these jobs, like doing Uber and all of, so I'm an engineer. That's what I went to college for.
Oh, okay.
In Colombia, if you're not a lawyer, a doctor, or an engineer, you're nothing. So your parents push you to be that.
You didn't
No,
really have a choice.
yeah, you don't have a choice. Yeah, you're like, I want to be an actor. No, like forget it. You have to be that, and especially because life is so hard over there that you want to secure like a good job.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I went to school. I went to college, and I actually have 2 degrees: one in biomedical engineer and one in industrial engineer.
Wow,
So
good for you.
yeah, but I didn't like any of that shit, and I didn't like it, and I was course slash gift with something. I always joke about it, and it's like I don't like to say it too much, but like I'm like academically I am very smart, so those kind of things really came easy to me.
Which
So
is a good thing.
it's a good thing, but when you don't really like those things,
Yeah.
it's super weird because math or chemistry, physics, all of those things are so easy to me, so I will
Mm-hmm.
go through those books and like, so when they were like, oh, you have to go to school, you have to go to college, to do that, I went to it. I did great, and I did another career on top of it. So I was doing 2 careers at the same time. So I spent 7 years in college trying to do the whole thing, and I did it. I
Yeah.
graduated from both of them, but in my mind it was the same thing. I am not happy with this. I don't like this. I don't imagine my life doing this shit. Like I was so unhappy that at some point when I met my husband, we met in Colombia. So when
Mm-hmm.
I met my husband, I was like, I'm done with this country. I don't want to be here anymore. I just want to literally graduate to give the diploma to my parents and leave, you know?
Yep.
So, and that's literally what I did. Like I graduate in like May, and in August we moved to the United States.
Oh wow, like you were ready to go.
Yeah, I told him because he's American. So he is super weird because he's American, but he's in love with Colombia, and I'm Colombian, but I'm in love with the United States. So and back then we were boyfriends. We were like a year and a half together by then, and I told him I cannot with this country anymore. I'm leaving, and you are welcome to come with me, but I'm just gonna go. And LA is calling me. I have never been in LA before, but I want to go to Los Angeles, and I just want to go there. And if I have to go there by myself, like I don't need you. It's fine because I know that you love Colombia, and if you want to stay here, that's fine. Like an American in Colombia is super glorified. Like you will get all the opportunities in the world that you want to.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, they love having Americans over there. And he was happy, but he was like, what is so weird, because my dream has always been in Los Angeles as well. And I was like, then just do it. Let's just do it. And we did it. And I was like, again, the whole point is like, you need to be doing things that makes you happy. If you are not happy with what you're doing, what's the point of going day after day after day, just like being extremely annoying and with your life and everything. And sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's scary. You have this job, you have responsibilities, but if you are good, why not doing it? If like you have a great TikTok, for example. I think you have like 70,000 followers on TikTok. So
Which is
that
scary.
has to mean something. That has to mean that you are doing something right, that is working. So
Yeah,
it's
no, I mean that's why I'm saying I think it's great to hear these stories from other creators, because I think a lot of times people just think that you just woke up and then all of a sudden you had all of this at your feet, and they don't see obviously the work that goes into it. Or even with
struggle is real.
TikTok, there's shorter videos, as you know, and you got to, no one wants more than 60 seconds of tea. They just don't. So you've like, sometimes it's not enough time. So you're squeezing stuff in, but I do agree with you on the fact that if you're not doing something that makes you happy every day, then what is the point? Because you're ultimately just going to be a miserable human being. So
Mhm.
yeah, who cares? You're making great money, you're living a more like upper echelon lifestyle, But if you're miserable, none of that stuff matters. You know what I mean? You can have the nicest car, the nicest stuff in your house, but if you're miserable going to work every day, you don't really care what you have because you're miserable. So it's interesting because I think even now through the pandemic, it's kind of shifted people's mentality around working. If I'm honest, like I think before the pandemic, people were like, no, I hate my job, but I need my job. And there's no other option to like have stability. And I think TikTok and YouTube really showed people, wait a minute, I could just Uber for now
Yeah.
to pay my bills and focus on doing what I really love doing. And that was inspiring to me. And so that's what got me finally to pull the trigger. Now, if I've never said this out loud, so please, guys, don't go looking for it because I can't figure out how to delete it. But I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago, I was like, I'm going to start a podcast and I'm going to recap Housewives shows and that whole shit. And it was just audio only. And I don't even know. I think it was like, I was just in the mood and I was like, oh, I can do this. So I went in and I started recording episodes. I think I only did like 4 episodes and I couldn't keep up because it was like, oh no, I can't fit this in. And then I would miss an episode and it would be too late to do the recaps. I'd like, forget it. I'm not. So if you guys find it, don't come shooting at me because I'm sure it sounds like awful, but that's why like this time around I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do this because why not? And life is short. Like there's no rules, right? You don't have to subscribe to everything everyone else does. But I do agree that, and I've said this to my partner, if I did this, if this becomes my full-time job, it would never feel like Sundays would never feel like Sundays. It would just be another day. And it would be like, I could do this from the minute I wake up to the minute I go to sleep. And it wouldn't make me like stressed or like, yeah, there's days where you're like annoyed or there's things going on. But ultimately, if you're passionate, you get the validation too, like you said, like you start to grow and you continue to grow. You don't stay stagnant. You're still, so I've been the same. So it's really keeps you motivated. And so I'm saying that to say recently I've been on the fence about what direction I'm going to go in. And I obviously know what direction I'm going to go in, but it's like I'm a chicken shit. You know what I mean? Like my partner is like, just, you can do it. Everyone around me is like, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. But it's just like, it's scary. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's scary. You're like, what am I doing? Am I a psychopath? Am I like crazy? But you're not because people are doing it, obviously. So it's not out of the ordinary. But yeah, it's just interesting because it's like so many people probably want to do similar things and are so, I understand they're scared. There's so many responsibilities that you don't want to put yourself in a bad situation either.
Yeah.
But it is motivating for sure. I mean,
it's also about your personal brand. I always thought that, we all talk about the same tea. It's
yes.
never different, like, oh, we all have like different, maybe like exclusive here and there, but at the end of the day, we all talk about the same tea. But what people really like is what you are bringing to the plate. We watch different channels to get different opinions because we do not think the same.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something beautiful. And when you see that is working, it means that people are connecting with you for a reason. And there is, I feel personally, because I know other YouTubers maybe not feel the same way, but I feel that there is space for everyone. And as long as you have your own thing going on for yourself, you are not copying anyone else, you are doing your own uh, way of expressing yourself, and people are connecting with you for certain reasons, it's going to work out eventually. I mean, it's just
No, I
like
agree. I agree. And I agree to that point too. I think there's been some cool YouTube creators that are cool to like collab with and obviously like you and stuff. But I do feel like in the beginning, it's a little bit like scary because you don't know if someone's going to get just pissy with you. Like, oh, here's another creator coming on the scene. And what are they doing? Are they copying me? Are they not? So you try to like make sure I'm not using the same font. I'm not using the same thumbnail. I'm not
yeah,
using the same
trying to change
tagline
your
for
own
my video.
color. You're like, it's insane. It is so crazy. But there are so many. It's so weird. I mean, I I personally feel like in our world, in the Bravo streets, everyone is it's very defined. I have never really seen two creators be too similar. Like I know we all have like our voices.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. Like girl, if you go to like the YouTube streets, like my husband is doing, those people are insane. You know,
There's
like
like feuds between
between
YouTubers.
YouTubers that I
Not
have
even like
never
celebrity. Like I've seen videos where it's a YouTuber and another YouTuber, and
another
someone's
YouTuber.
created a
Yeah,
channel to talk about YouTube drama. And I'm like, oh
yeah.
my God, like this is crazy.
They go insane. They go hard on each other. These collaborations that doesn't exist on that part of the world. You know, like my husband has been try. He watched me doing all this. I collab with everyone. I mean, literally every Monday, I try to have a different person on my channel. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it's for us it's like super easy. I don't know, like we really enjoy talking about Housewife or Bravo or wherever, right? Over
Mm-hmm.
there, he has been trying, I think, for months to get someone. No one wants to do a collaboration. It's very weird. Everyone is fighting each other. It's so like I'm like, I don't get it. I mean, this is supposed to be funny. Why are you fighting someone else that is talking about the same thing that you're talking? Like, I don't understand that situation. And but here, I mean, I love our community in Bravo. I think we are very trying to be very supporting of each other. I think like 90% of us are really down to do that. And like for example, I'm because it was so weird and hard the way that everything kind of like happened for me. I'm never looking into like, oh, how many subscribers this person has, you know, or like, oh, I cannot do a collaboration with you because you are a small channel. Like, I don't really care about those things, you know. I think about like having fun and just talk and like whatever. um
Yeah, that's kind of like that's the nice thing I think about being in this Bravo community is I agree. There's not been, I don't even think there's been one person that's turned me down to
yeah,
do a collab, big or small. Like I don't care about that stuff. Like I just want to talk
yeah,
about these women and the show. So whoever's up for it, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Whereas I do see the like other side of like the YouTube where people will only collab with people if they're at a certain level of subscribers or whatever have you, because in their mind they're like, you're just trying to collab with me to get clout.
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
like Bravo people and like commentary channels, we don't really focus it on that because at the end of the day, the information's not that different. So there's not much of an exchange in the sense of no one's going to get clout off someone else's channel. And I think I don't know. So yeah, YouTube for me is my challenge, but it's not because it's just not working. It's because I haven't been dedicated to it. And I
yeah.
know I think I even took like I think I bought like a course like a few years ago on like how to grow your YouTube channel. And it was like I think the guy did say like you need to post like 7 videos a day. And I was like, where the
Yeah.
hell am I gonna find
It's
7 videos? Then
yeah.
you gotta cut it up, you gotta put an intro and an outro. So it's not like Instagram where you just throw it
You
up
know what?
there.
If when because when I start, I didn't do all that shit. You know, when I start YouTube, especially before you start getting paid, um, it's all about content, you know, like putting content out there. I will literally do videos like 3 minutes, 5 minutes long. I will not edit anything. I will not put like any intro, and I just dedicate myself to I have to put 6 to 7 videos every day. So I will do like all these short videos and just put it and put it and put it and put it because people are gonna watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it, and that's what we need. Now, after you get paid, it gets a little bit trickier because after you get paid, your videos need to be at least 8 minutes long in order for advertiser be able to put their things in there. So it kind of like it changed a little bit more. And then after you start getting paid, you're like, okay, now I need to make them realize why do I need to get paid, you know. So then you start getting a little bit more professional and a little bit more, you know, like doing things in there. In
Yeah.
the beginning is very much all about just content, you know. Like honestly, I will do like you do your videos on TikTok. I mean, a minute, 2 minutes, even like repost that, you know, on YouTube and just start like going, you know, just start just being out there, especially for the watch hours, because getting 4,000 hours, it's incredibly hard. I think even harder than the subscribers at this point. So
when I saw 4,000 hours, I was like, holy crap, that is never like at this rate, it's going to take forever. But no, I appreciate that advice because I think I don't think about it. I always think about it needs to be a finished product. And to think
mm,
you're going to do 7 finished products a day, you're like, what, when, and how? But no, but you and there's so many YouTube creators that have been inspiring in that regard because it's like you guys are doing it and you do it every day. I see you posting your content on Instagram promoting it. So it's like it does work. It's just a matter of like you just have to do it. That's
yeah,
what I've learned in this whole thing is like when you just set your mind to something and you start doing it, things fall into place naturally. So, but I want to segue a little bit because speaking of YouTube and exclusives, you dropped an exclusive today about Diana's connection to PK and Dorit and something to do with Barclays Bank and what
yeah.
is going on. And you don't have to give it all away because people need to go watch the video. But I was intrigued because I never saw that coming because it didn't seem like they had a connection on the show. Like they don't seem like they have
Yeah,
like
no,
any knowledge of each other.
yeah. When I got that, I also was very surprised because I was like, oh, that's something that I didn't see coming. It's so random, thinking about those two getting some kind of pass. But apparently, so from what I hear very quickly, like the producers knew about this connection from the beginning. It's just that that connection has not been like openly talked with everyone, inside of the show.
Okay.
Because Dorit, especially Dorit, she doesn't want this to be going out there. So the fact is that PK owned all of this money back in England, to this bank. And
Mm-hmm.
I think I even found I think it's like a lawsuit or something, but it's like from there. And it literally says all the money that it was owned and like all the how he had to file for bankruptcy and how he had to do all of these things over there. And so the whole point is that Diana Jenkins was at the moment the wife of the owner of this bank, so they know each other. And PK was doing all these sketchy things over there to try to not pay that money. That's basically the whole point. And then they moved here to the United States, and that pretty much was it. So there is that connection. Then Diana left that husband. So I don't know if she really cares that much about that, but she
Mm-hmm.
knows the kind of people that Dorit and PK are. So that's maybe, I don't know why because we haven't seen really Diana interact too much with Dorit on
I
the
was
show.
just gonna say we haven't had any real one-on-ones with her and
Exactly. So maybe it's
Diana.
because of that. Maybe Diana does know that story and she's like, I don't trust these people. I don't know if I should get into that mess. So the whole point is that Erika Jane, apparently she came to the producers and she has been complaining like, hey, you are only exploiting me. What about all of these other people? What about these storylines that are out there? Why? And so the thing is like, I think Diana told Erika the whole thing. So Erica now knows Dorit's secrets,
Oh
and
boy.
she has been protecting Dorit for a little bit. But now Erica is like, shit, I mean, it's all about me. What about these other storylines that are out there? And she has been pushing producers to explore this storyline between Dorit and Diana. Now we don't know if Diana is gonna return next season or not, but if she returns, there is this possibility that they're gonna get into this, past that
That might explain why Dorit chooses to hang out with take Eric aside and be next to Diana, maybe because it's like I
yeah,
always felt like the Fox Force 4, they have some sort of pact because they have to know something about each other.
yeah,
Because they
there
can't
is.
be really that close of friends. I mean, give me a break. So that's why I'm like, what do you guys know about each other that you guys will not challenge? Like, they never say anything or challenge. I mean, I think this is the first time I've seen Kyle like confront Erica a couple weeks back where she's like pissed off at her. And I'm like, where did that come from? Like you guys are always like this, So it's interesting. And even Dorit, like taking Eric aside and making sure she went with her to Diana's and making sure that she's aligned is very interesting. So I wonder if Diana will come back next season. I just get the feeling she won't, only because she doesn't seem like she's getting her story
It will
across.
be I'm gonna be honest. I think she will be very dumb if she come back another season, because I have been hearing that they have all these things prepared for Diana. For next season. I mean, producers, they have been talking, they have been sharing information, public records, and all of that. And I heard that Bravo literally talked to the production company and was like that they will only be interested in keeping Diana if they do Madame Diana era, you know, kind of like what they did with Erika Jane, like exposing her without her really knowing. And I'm like, look, Diana doesn't need the money because she doesn't need the coins from Bravo.
Mm-mm.
I honestly have no idea what she's doing in this show. Why is she doing it? And and she has all of these secrets and all of these skeletons in her closet that honestly she will be dumb to do another season. But if she does, yeah, they're gonna go full force. I think that's what is going to happen if she comes back. But I don't think she's gonna come back, to be honest.
I doubt. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think she's going to come back. I think she realized this doesn't work in her favor at all, and she didn't do it for the money. Obviously, I think she did it because I think she thought she could put out a narrative about herself that would clear up her past, but it ended up backfiring on her because now she's obviously like she sent out cease and desists and she's suing, the bots that I don't know who the people are that are involved, but nonetheless, so you have that, and then it's strange. And she wasn't even at the reunion for more than 30 or 45 minutes, I heard. So I don't see what the value in her being there next. And if she did come back, they would totally do that to her. They would totally expose her just because that's how they do. And usually on season 2 is when you kind of get your tough season. Although it doesn't work that way for everybody on this cast, from what I remember, because Crystal hasn't really had a bad season.
That like they tried with the 14 girlfriends, but like they kind of like went ahead. But the thing is, like, there are also too many people in Beverly Hills right now. I think having 9 housewives, it's like you don't have time to really explore unless it's like group settings. So you don't really get to like explore separate storylines. I think the perfect number, honestly, is between 6, maybe 7, if you want to go crazy.
I
But
agree.
9 is just too much.
Well,
And
you
then
don't have enough time in one episode to kind of go into all their, like you said, all their stories because it's like there's only so much time and they shoot a lot of stuff. So imagine the stuff that we don't see. But so what are your thoughts with this Kathy situation? Yesterday I was talking about how Kathy's lawyers apparently are all over Bravo, and that's the reason why the ladies couldn't see the remainder of the season before they filmed the reunion, because the lawyers were making sure that the edits were good, and that's why the publicist was at the reunion. So, and I've been reading on Twitter and Instagram, like there's a mixed bag. There's people that are like, yes, Kathy's a queen, you know, then you have the other side. It's like, this isn't fair. If they let her do this, then they're gonna have the other women are gonna start doing it. But what are your thoughts? And also, do you think these alleged slurs happened?
So I don't know. I mean, it's very weird. So first of all, we have to understand that Kathy Hilton is a very powerful woman.
Yes.
And she's a Hilton, and also like her daughter is married to a Rothschild.
Rothschild. Yeah, I know. People
So
forget
they
that.
kind of like control the world. So it's very, very powerful people. So it's going to be very hard to really understand where is the truth. Now, my thing is like, why so conveniently everything happened while there was no cameras or mics or anything that never happened. Look at Lisa Barlow on Salt Lake City, with
I
the
know.
that almost never happened. So it becomes, and I'm sorry, but like Lisa Rena and Erika Jane are not the most trust sources to believe everything that they're saying. So it's a little bit in the middle. So the whole slurs, I don't believe that it happened, especially because the story changed so much.
Mm-hmm.
It came from the DJ to the waiter to Sutton's assistant to it was Lisa Rena, the one who said it. Oh, now it's Erika Jane, the one who was told. So
Yep.
kind of like the story changed too much that I'm thinking I don't think this Lord happened. Of course, there was explosion in Aspen. I do
Yeah.
think that there was a whole fight between Kyle and Kathy. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and it wasn't filmed. And I think Lisa Rena was right there on the corner, like a fly, being like, "This is it. This is how I'm getting my storyline," because there is no proof. So it's going to be my word against her word. And the thing is, like, I mean, Kathy Hilton at the end of the day is a friend of the show. She's not even a diamond holder,
I know.
you know? So it's like, I don't know. It's so weird. I don't know what is going to happen. I want to believe that some truth will come out, but I, I, I in my heart, and what I have been hearing a lot is, this is just Lisa Rena trying to make something happen for her, because especially this season, if you really think about it, we really didn't hear too much about Lisa Rena other than the passing of her mom. And
Hmm.
then she started like doing the screaming and like all of that, but we never really like have a full storyline from her at all.
No.
So and she this is her last year, her contract, this is her last year. So she is kind of like, shit, what I'm gonna do now, what I'm gonna do now. And then the reality gods give her Kathy Hilton going crazy on her sister, you know so
It's
she's
like,
like, this is
thank
it.
you,
Yeah.
God. Yes,
Yeah.
Kathy, I'll go home with you. You're already
I,
in a
I
bad mood.
I bet that she, as they were fighting, she was going around the house making sure that there was no cameras or mics or anything, because that's the best way that you can create a rumor. There is
Yeah.
no proof. There is absolutely no proof about anything. And then she started like texting Erika Jane like crazy, and Erika is like, "Wow,
I know
oh
those
my
responses. I was like, I would hate
god."
to be texting with her because she's writing her paragraphs and she just
Yeah.
writes, wow, oh Lord, oh
Yeah.
my God. And it's like, that's all you can say.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, to your earlier point, I agree with you. When we first got this information, it was like, oh, Rena heard her using the slurs, which is why Rena went on Instagram and was saying, oh, this is where her kids get it from, and went really hard on Kathy about this whole thing.
Yeah.
But Erika said nothing. And then down the line, it was, oh, she said it to the bouncer. Oh, no, wait, she said it to the waiter. Or no, she said it to the DJ. No, she called the waiter the F slur and called the DJ the, racial slur. But then it turns out Erika was the only person to hear her say it. And it wasn't the racial slur, it was the
Yeah.
homophobic slur.
And
So,
then they end up saying that Kathy, she didn't say it to anyone, but she said it to Erika Jane. So
right.
I'm like, is Kathy Hilton gonna go around and saying like these words to Erika Jane randomly? Like, I don't know. It
But
doesn't.
I do believe she had a meltdown at the club.
Yeah.
I do, 1000%. And listen, I think, I don't know about you. I think everyone's had a night like that where nothing is reasonable about your reaction to things. So we've all been in a situation with a group of friends, at least I'll speak for myself, where none of it makes sense. You're having a meltdown for no reason. Either you're tired, you've had a drink, it doesn't hit you the right way, and you're just pissy about everything. And so when people are not doing what you want them to do in the moment, you get even more aggressive. But I don't know how much I mean, there's so many stories, but I feel like Rinna ran with this so that she would have something in the bank.
Yeah.
And now it doesn't seem like that's 100% the case. So I do feel like the lawyers getting involved is more about, like, I feel like Kathy had a clause in her contract to begin with. I just don't imagine Kathy going on a show like this and letting them just edit her however they wanted. That's kind of dangerous for her brand. And to your
Yeah.
point, her daughter Nikki's married to like a Rothschild who you don't want to tarnish anything on
Anything,
that
yeah.
side because they'll ruin your whole life. So it'll just be interesting to see how the reunion goes because I feel like they're just going to focus on what she said about Kyle. She really doesn't like Kyle. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
clear.
I mean,
It's very
they have
clear.
something going on, and she's going to deny everything. I mean, we already know that they're gonna talk about it. Kathy, of course, she denied saying this lore because Erika Jane is gonna talk about it, and the text messages that Lisa Rena show about Kathy Hilton, Kathy is saying, "I never send those text messages," which is also very interesting because she's gonna show the text messages to Andy Cohen, and that's what I want to see because I do feel that there has to be more to those text messages. You know, like a before or an after. You know, like where is the rest of that conversation?
Yeah, I agree because unless that was the first time Kathy ever texted her, which I don't
Yeah,
believe is the case, where there has to be more conversation before these text messages or after. Did she not respond to it?
yeah,
Or you know what I mean? Because you can go into your iMessages and delete everybody else's
yeah.
like correspondence. So she probably was doing that before she screenshotted it. But I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see the reunion and the rest of the season. But from the preview I saw, they're talking about her meltdown pretty extensively.
Yeah.
So on the way back. So I don't know. But we're not going to see Kathy and probably till the season finale, I think. She doesn't
Oh,
go to the rest of the events. So, well, I want to leave you guys with this. I want to know, Andy, who do you want to come back next season? Like who are your two housewives that you would bring back as full time and two that you would get rid of from this current cast?
so I mean, of course, Garcelle has to come back,
Uh,
and Sutton has to come back. So my thing is like I'm liking this new Crystal, but we need to like still explore a little bit more. So we'll see. It's not a secret. I cannot stand Lisa Rena and Erika Jane. Like I am so over them. I don't like them. I'm like, girl, what are you doing here? Like, go. The whole talking about Erika Jane dating sugar daddies and getting dick. Like I don't want to hear about her anymore until everything is solved with her legal situation. And I mean, Lisa Rena has been destroying life for like 5 years. So like it's like over for her. Like I don't want those two. Diana, I mean, I don't know. I don't like her. I don't find her relatable. But if they're going to, expose someone else, I will be interesting to see what they're going to expose about Diana Jenkins, to be honest. So,
yeah,
because let's be honest, we still need a villain. We still
sure.
need, like we don't watch these shows to watch ladies drinking tea around the table. Like
No.
that's not the point. So we
Yes.
do need some kind of like villain or some kind of like storyline, an fight or whatever. So I cannot tell you, let's just read about like everyone and just leave Garcelle and Sutton. It doesn't make sense. So we still need that interactions. It's just like Lisa Rena. I mean, we have been seeing her doing the same shit over and over and over, for Yolanda Hadid, Kim Richards, Lisa Vanderpump, Denise Richards, Garcelle. Like it's like over and it's the same tactic and it's tired. And
I
for the
know.
first time, because everyone got haters, but for the first time, I go to social media and the general opinion is like people don't like Lisa Rena. People don't want Lisa Rena anymore,
No, I
So,
mean,
yeah,
I noticed it. I think this season I really noticed how much people were done with her because it didn't matter what I posted about her. They were like, oh, get her off the show. I'm done with her. I'm sick of her doing the same thing every year. We never learn anything about her family. No one's allowed to talk about her husband. Let's talk about the husband. So it's just like, I agree with you. I mean, I think she's been using the same formula every season and people are just not, it's too predictable. She
mhm,
never, it's, I've yet to see a season where something is turned on her, where she's the one that, do you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
nothing is ever really turned around where she's had a bad season. It's more about she's like exposing other people allegedly to
yeah,
own something,
yeah.
but we can't ask her questions about anything personal because then she flies off the handle. So it's just very interesting how they both cover for each other. But where I know everyone probably knows where to find you, but you should plug your stuff. So you're on TikTok. So where can everyone find you on TikTok?
So my handle is the same on every single social media.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's real Andy BH, and you can find me on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Reddit, on Twitter, and on YouTube is the real Andy of Beverly Hills. But like the same for all of the other ones.
And then last question: are you going to BravoCon? I don't know if I asked you.
No, I'm not going to BravoCon. I wanted to. I literally was ready to buy the ticket. Like I have the money. I was going to do the investment. I mean, I'm in LA, so I have to fly all the way to New York and
Mm-hmm.
hotel and like the whole thing. And of course, if I'm gonna do that, I was like, I need to have like the super hyper mega VIP experience, everything super included.
Of course.
And I was going to do the thing, and the day that the tickets went out, I went to buy it, and I wasn't able to buy it on that first sale that they did. Like, it went so fast.
Oh my God.
And then I kind of like stopped, and I was like, is this a sign that maybe I should not be spending all that money on, on this? Because I was like, damn. Then you start thinking, and you're like, shit, this is like 2,000 something dollars, and then the flight is like $700, and then the hotel and the whole thing. And I
It's
was like,
insane how much it ends up coming to when you add everything. You're like, what? Is this a write-off? Can I write this off as a business expense?
you can actually can.
I found that out, thankfully, but I didn't do the three. I couldn't. I was not going to be able to do the 3-day because I could not justify that. I don't care.
No.
I was like, I will do 1-day VIP all the way, and I'll go to the after parties, but I am not going to drop $2,000 on this 3-day VIP experience and see the same people for 3 days straight. I think I'd probably get sick of them by the end of it. But even the add-ons, I didn't even realize, you probably saw, they add like a weird service fee that ends up being like another $200 at the end. So you're like, what is this for? Yeah. And it's like, it's crazy. But nonetheless, I'll be there on that Saturday. So I'm gonna try to go live and try to, because see what's going on, and then
I was talking yesterday. I don't know if you know Eddie. His name is Martinez with Eddie.
I think I've heard of that. I've heard of that channel. Yeah.
So I was with him. He was yesterday on RHOBH, and we were talking about BravoCon, and he thinks that you guys will get the announcement of New York. So I'm really hoping that is going to happen.
You mean like the legacy?
No,
like, or like the new reboot.
New York. Like they're actually gonna show, just like they did in the last BravoCon with Salt Lake City, that they announced officially Salt Lake City and like the ladies and all of that. That maybe that's going to happen in this one with New York. So that will be exciting to see if they do that.
I would be excited for that. I would love. I mean, I would love for Roni to come back in some capacity. Like, I would love to see. I just hope that they do a good job with the casting and making sure that the content's good, because I think people are really putting a lot of equity into this reboot. Yeah. But guys, you can find The Real Andy of Beverly Hills on YouTube. And are you on Twitter?
Yeah.
Everywhere. Okay, so all of the handles are the same. Real Andy, it's Real Andy BH.
Yeah.
And I'll have everything linked down below. And Andy, thanks so much for stopping by the podcast today. We're going to have to do this again. I'll need to come back for another Monday Bravo-chella, because that is so fun. And you'll need to come back maybe after BravoCon's over. We'll do one of these again so we can catch up on what's going on. And for the rest of you, I will have a new Patreon episode up on Friday, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Thank you, Andy. All right. Bye,
everyone.